You can tell I've watched too much Love Island. It is what it is. Which it sucks, but you should just mentally prepare yourself for that because it's a thing. That's what's romantic, right? Logic and rules. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I am Yvette and I moved to the UK in May last year, and I'm just documenting my experiences. So one of the questions I get asked most is, how do I date in London? Like, it's nice that you come to me, but I'm also already with someone, and I was before I got to London, so I don't have a huge amount of experience in the dating scene of London. However, I do have a lot of friends, and I have friends who have dated in Australia and in the UK, and I know their experiences, and it is quite different. So I thought I will share what I can, what I have observed as a third party, what it's like as an outsider who's already been married. So I have been with Daniel since before dating apps were a thing. So like, that's how foreign it is to me. So I have like quite an outside view, and I get to kind of just watch it like a TV show, which is very fun, but also offers a lot of insight because I'm not marred by my bias as someone who has, you know, had to wade through it. I'm not heaps cynical. I have seen the successes of friends, and hopefully I can share those successes onto you and know what you can expect when you come to London to start dating. So first thing you need to know about dating in London is Londoners as a whole are quite reserved. So they don't like talking to people, they won't make eye contact with you, chit chat's not a thing. So traditional ways of dating, of like bumping in on the tube or bumping into each other at the bar, not really a thing. I would say even if you have like a regular who you see on the train, on the tube, they probably still won't talk to you, which I think that was like the old way. Everything is digital now, particularly like Londoners who are so time poor and need like something super efficient, so they do go onto apps, and I will get into which apps are better than other apps. Don't go around London expecting to bump into people and that being your main form of communication. Like, it's just not gonna happen. The general attitude in the UK is get on with it, you know, carry on, just smile and carry on, or whatever the saying is, and that seems to be the way with dating. Is they're like, get the date secured, we'll see you on Friday for drinks, good, tick, you won't hear from them again until Friday. No chit chat, no pre-dinner conversation. Once the date is secured, conversation stops until date. Something I've only seen in the UK. Now this is just from what I've heard from friends, so don't come for me, this isn't my opinions. However, London having quite a big financial sector relates to a lot of men, because my friends who are dating are women, in case that wasn't clear. A lot of men working in the finance sector who have a lot of money, who sometimes have an attitude that goes with it. I think not having money when I was younger and dating actually like made my relationship stronger, because there was one time, this tells you how cute Daniel is, we couldn't afford to go to the drive-ins, like the drive-in theatre. So what he did was he rigged up a projector that we had onto the wall, and then set up the boot of the car. It was like a four-wheel drive, so it had like a proper boot, put cushions and blankets and mattresses and that, and like set it up with like food, and then set up the projector to play a film for us while we were, and then we just sat in the driveway and watched it there rather than going out, which to me that means so much more, because like the thought behind that, like I would rather do that than go to some swanky dinner that was like hundreds of pounds just because you could. Like, there's no thought in that. Thought is everything. So anyway, that was a massive tangent. Point is, a lot of arrogant people with money in London. The good thing with London, if you're looking to date, is that there's so many different, like every borough's got its own attitude, so you can like target someone. If you're like wanting someone who's like got a lot of money and like business savvy, go dating around Bank. Just sit there with your app and like swipe there. If you're looking for someone who's like down to earth, a coffee barista with a nice beard, more of a hipster look, you go to Shoreditch, you know, things like that. So you can kind of target what you're looking for depending on which borough you go to. Beards are very much a thing. Beard culture is its own subset in London, but it's there if you want it. I can't say anything because Daniel's not got a beard and I don't want to be rude. There is a specific restaurant that comes up when you type in most romantic restaurant in London. It's in Covent Garden and it's called Clos Magori. I'm probably butchering that, terribly sorry. However, the amount of guys that take you there, which means they've just gone into Google and typed in most romantic and put no thought in, back to the thought, So yeah, if you're looking to date, suggest somewhere else. It's a nice restaurant, has good food. It's just not very original. But it is better than a Nando's, I guess. So like, depends what you're into. If you want like originality and like thoughtfulness. But like, think outside the box. My favorite kind of dates are not like foodie dates, they're like activity based. So like, even if it's something like, you know, mini golf or Madame Tussauds, like all the touristy things that you don't do because you live here, do it with someone else, someone new, because then it's more fun because you can mock all the tourists. Generally, this is just a rule of thumb I've come across. If you're talking to someone and they suggest going to all bar one, don't even worry about it. It's not a nice place to go. The person who's suggesting it is like not putting a lot of thought in, just wants to go hang out with the boys. It's not, just stop right there. It's never a good excuse to go there. Now on to the apps. So we've discussed like how to find people, like what people are like or what they won't do. Discuss where to go, but how do you get them? It's all online, it's all apps. Everyone knows Tinder. Tinder is kind of just a hookup app at this point. It's very hard to find someone of quality on Tinder. If you're looking for a hookup, go to town, sign up. That's what you're in for. Everyone knows what we're all doing on that app, you know? But the app I suggest is Bumble. Now, I have used Bumble for something else, which will be a different video, but Bumble, you put up your photos, you put in like a bio, you answer some questions, which is great because when you're chatting to someone, you can like use the conversation starters, like favorite book series, like Harry Potter, and then you can reply and be like, what house are you? You know, it gives you a prompt to start a conversation, not just like, what you doing? How you doing? Like none of that stuff. So it's a bit more like personable. And you can pick a bunch of pictures and you kind of scroll down. Same concept of swipe right, swipe left if you don't like someone. I'm not going to go into how to make a good profile because realistically I don't know the ins and outs. I can tell you like top line. But the number one thing no one should do, guys or girls, don't put a photo on your profile where you have a filter from Instagram or Snapchat on, because like no one knows what you actually look like when you get to the bar. So like just put actual photos on, because it's like, sure you might get swipes, but then like once they meet you, they're not going to want to hang out with you. So like, don't be stupid. But anyway, the other good thing with Bumble is that because of this situation, and dating can be quite predatory for women, you know, it's hard to trust people, and like you've got to like send your location and all this kind of stuff to make sure you don't get like attacked or anything. The good thing with Bumble is that it empowers the woman, so she has to be able to say yes and start the conversation, which might sound odd, but what it mostly does is that, so sometimes if you match with someone on like Tinder, they'll just start sending you dick pics, which is like, you know, a form of sexual assault. Like if you ran around London just flashing your dick everywhere, you would get arrested. But online, you don't get arrested. So the good thing is that if you're chatting to someone, you have to match with them, and then the woman has to initiate the conversation. So they'll be like, hey, how are you going? And then conversation goes from there. It's not just like a massive dick pic like sent out to everyone. So it makes it a bit safer and gives the woman a bit more power so that she's not totally confronted with like, you know, the not nice bits of dating. The other thing I've heard a lot about London is like, despite there being 8 million people, you are always constantly reminded about like how small the world really is, because you seem to find like your ex-best friend or your best friend's ex, or do you know what I mean? Everyone knows everyone somehow. So you might have to readjust your standards on like dating people who you do or don't know or have connections to. But it is what it is. You can tell I've watched too much Love Island. It is what it is. Generally, I think this is just a normal new age thing, but particularly in the UK, is that it's really awkward when you come to splitting the bill. So quite traditional values in the UK would be like, the man pays, but also there's like feminism, and they're like, I want to pay and the woman wants to pay. Not that I've ever really been in this situation because our finances are so locked, but my stance is whoever asked them out, whoever did the asking out should do the paying, you know, because they've come out because you asked them. So then you can pay. And then the next time you can like switch it around, but that's a good like starting point, is like, no, I asked you on the date, let me treat you. And that's fair. Whoever did the asking. If guy did the asking, you pay. Girl did the asking, you pay. If you both somehow mutually asked each other, split the bill. Problem solved. And then that way whoever did the asking can feel empowered. But that's just me. Me and my opinion that I've never been in, but I've suggested that to friends and it goes down well because guys like it when you do take initiative, but some guys like to be traditional. But when you have logic and rules, everyone's a winner. That's what's romantic, right? Logic and rules. There's also, I don't know if this is necessarily a new thing. I think just because dating in the new age is like, there's so many people all the time on so many apps and blah, 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 that it's hard to keep up, and there's a lot more situations where you get ghosted. Ghosting is where people just cease all communication. So you're chatting to someone and they just stop replying. I think of it as like a job interview. You're getting like interviewed for like a job and then they found someone else, they just didn't tell you, which absolutely sucks, but is very, very common because people will be chatting to like 5 different people and then they might find, you know, 1 or 2 that they proper click with, and then they'll pursue that and just literally ignore everyone else, which it sucks, but you should just mentally prepare yourself for that because it's a thing. I do think it is always a good idea to get out and do things that you like, because it, 1, empowers you as a person, makes you interesting, and then also casts your net a bit wider. I'm aware everything is digital for now, but if you have someone that you see at the gym regularly, or you have someone who is in your pottery class or your Spanish class or your art class or whatever you do in your spare time, that's also good like forms to like bonding. Because London is a very time poor, so setting up dates additionally to everything else is quite hard. So if you can like loop them in to your routine in your life, like just integrate them so you don't have to find extra time, also a very good idea. But in general, Londoners take a long time to get to the relationship point. It's like 3 months before you can be like, are we boyfriend, girlfriend, you know? But you never know. It's just because everyone's so time poor, but you get it. Hopefully this video has helped some of you out there who are entering the dating pool in London. I think it's an exciting one because it is such a diverse city that there's so many different people and things happening that you can find some really interesting people. This is actually a 2-part series where my second video is going to be on how to make friends in London, which I have much more experience in, but surprisingly not that different to this video. But I'll get into that in the next one. So if you want to see how to make friends in London, make sure you hit subscribe and give this video a thumbs up so that I know that you guys like it and I can do a part 2 to this video. Tell me in the comments below what your experiences of dating have been. I know not all of you are in London, but you can tell that if what I'm saying resonates with where you live. So if you're like, what, everyone's so friendly and chatty, I don't have to worry about going online at all. What world you live in. I'm so jealous. Everyone just like stares down in London. So either way, if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, let me know what you think, and remember to hit subscribe so I can see you next time. Thanks so much for watching.